Not dead yet. The West Virginia Mountaineers play tough, they play gritty, and they get a win at home versus a very talented BYU Cougar team. To talk about it with me tonight, I have my good friend and Mountaineer diehard, Amit Batra. Amit, how about that win?
Yeah, I thought they played really well tonight. I thought it was a collective effort. You have five players finish double figures. I thought, they did a really good job to start off at the foul line, right? I mean, that's been an issue, and I think they made a lot of progress there. And then, yeah, you could tell they wanted this one extra tonight, and obviously it keeps somewhat of a heartbeat for the tournament alive. So,
Amit, I wore my Mutts hoodie tonight. So I'm not sure if you can see that,
yeah,
but I wore my Mutts hoodie, and maybe I have to wear it more often because it was the good luck charm tonight. It was as complete of a game that we've seen in a long time from this team, and I thought it was super encouraging. When we got off the air the last two times that we spoke, it's been pretty depressing. The two videos that we did this week, we did one after that overtime heartbreaking loss to Oklahoma State, and then we did another one on Thursday about West Virginia not having any combine invites. So this one definitely boosts my mood, because I was going for my walk and I was down about the team today. I'm like, I'm not too excited about the rest of the season, but I had a funny feeling, Amit, that they could get this one tonight. It kind of reminded me of the Kansas games and how Kansas always has
yeah.
those talented players, and West Virginia at home is really tough to beat when the backs are against the wall and they get up for these games.
Yeah, 100%. You could definitely tell from the start that they had an extra boost to them. And I thought, a big part of it was limiting AJ Dybantsa, who everybody knows is going to be, number one, number two pick. And I think they did a phenomenal job on him. Obviously, in the first half, holding him to 4 points was huge. You could tell a lot of guys are swarming every time he got the ball. And I think Belo did a good job defensively when he had the assignment.
Coop said, "You smell that jersey? I smell BTA." Absolutely. I said, you listen, you're going to have to get shirts of that, Coop. Just wear it around your high school. West Virginia basketball, BTA. Swabby G said, "Good evening, Jersey Ear and Amit, everyone." Hey, good evening to you, man. It's definitely, these evenings are better when you're winning, and it was a nice 50-degree day in Jersey today, and we're going to celebrate a win here on the Jersey Ear Show. Before we do that, if you haven't yet, please remember to like and subscribe to Jersey Ear. We're always breaking down these games pretty much right after they happen. So if you want instant analysis of the games and reactions, and if you are a diehard Mountaineer fan, definitely follow the show and subscribe to it, share it with a friend. We really appreciate it. Let's get into this one. So, Matt, let's break down the team comparison for box score here tonight. Field goal percentage pretty much the same. West Virginia, though, they were able to take 11 more shots than BYU did, mainly because of the offensive rebound. Let's skip down to that offensive rebounds, Amit. 18-8 offensive rebound for West Virginia. It's almost hard to believe that is a stat that was in West Virginia's favor tonight.
Yeah, no, I think they did a great job attacking the glass. I mean, Belo especially, I think he had at least 6 offensive rebounds himself. So, I thought it was just a collective effort. I mean, I think just sharing the ball, rebounding. I think a lot of guys were moving without the ball, which I think was a great progress compared to some of the other games that we've been seeing where guys were kind of stagnant. So yeah, I mean, you could tell they were they had a boost to them tonight, and in a lot of these categories, I mean, they just made a lot of strides.
Yeah, look, second chance points. Obviously, if you get 18 offensive rebounds to 8, you're going to win the second chance points department. So you give yourself a chance there with 15. The bench points was great tonight with 24 compared to 12. Points in the paint, 36 to 28. And then if you look at the assists, 17 assists tonight. I think that was one of the major reasons why West Virginia won this, is the way the Mountaineers facilitated the ball.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they were all sharing the ball pretty well. Like I said, I think they were moving without the ball. They weren't just waiting for things to happen, which is what you want to see, right? And I mean, we talked about having a balanced attack, and you saw it. I mean, DJ Thomas, another guy I think tonight that did a great job, especially in the first half. And I love the way that Jasper Floyd started the game. He was making some shots, he was facilitating, just looked a little bit more aggressive. So overall, just I think a great team performance, and yeah, you love to see it.
Yeah, so we look at the individual box score now, and again, really, really solid night from Lorient. I mean, 18 points. had 9 rebounds, so 1 rebound away from that double-double. He's been super impressive. Jasper Floyd, another double-digit game for him, so I know he's been taking a lot of flack from the fans as far as end-of-the-game boneheaded plays, but you have to tip your cap to Floyd a little bit. He's been showing up in a lot of these games.
Yeah, 100%. I think he pretty much set the tone. I think he had 7 points early, hit a three, had a floater, fed Obioa in the early part of the game. So, yeah, I mean, I love when he's aggressive. I think sometimes he tries to be like a little too unselfish, but it's, you need him to perform. And, yeah, I think he did a great job tonight.
Honor Huff, 19 points. I think the biggest thing with Honor, I thought the shot selection was really good tonight. I don't think he was forcing it as much as he had in other games. He was getting downhill, and he had 6 assists himself. So this is one of the more balanced games that he's had if you look at the 6 assists plus the 19 points.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I think he's always much better when he's getting his teammates involved and he's finding his guys instead of just rushing for shots. And yeah, he had good looks, and he obviously was good at the foul line as well, as he usually is, 6 or 7. So yeah, really loved the way he played tonight, and needed him to be that special guy.
Swabby G said we need to win out the regular season and get 2 solid wins in the Big 12 tournament. I think we squeak in the big dance. I'll tell you what, this one definitely keeps us in the conversation. I think that's a solid thing. The whole week I've been looking at us and seeing, all right, did Lenardi take us off the page for the bracket? And we're still on there. We're still being there considered. Very small print West Virginia's on there, but we're still in there. This is the second best win of the season. If you look at the other great win we had was Kansas. This is probably going to be the second best win. So this keeps us rolling for another game, right? We have to go to Kansas State, who we already beat this year, and they just let go of their coach, so who knows what they're playing for. And then you get UCF at home next Friday night. So, yeah, anything can happen. You have to win out, that's for sure, and see what happens in the Big 12 tournament. But at least for tonight, they keep us in the conversation. It'll be real interesting to see what happens tomorrow morning, Amit, when we wake up and where Joe Lenardi has us. Are we back in the first 4 out? Are we still in that considered line? It's something I'm going to be looking into.
Yeah, I think it'll be very interesting. Obviously, this was the last quad 1 opportunity in the regular season, so the 5th quad 1 win. You have 2 quad 2 games left. So I think, West Virginia is kind of benefiting from the bubble being maybe a little bit weak, and you have very similar teams. But yeah, this was a huge win. Obviously, I mean, there's not much room for error, based on the last 3 games, right? So I think you have to win out in the regular season, and then you probably have to get it. Yeah, I would probably say 2 in the conference tournament to feel good about it. Maybe, I don't know if 20 wins total will do it or not, but I would definitely love to get 2 in there. But yeah, it keeps the season alive.
The next regular season Big 12 win will be important because it gets you to that 9th win, which would guarantee at least a 500 record in conference play. If we get the next 2, which we could be favored in both possibly, you would finish 10 Big 12 wins in the Ross Hodge first season, which is great. Yep. I know a lot of people have been tough on Ross Hodge recently, and I think a mixture of a few things. I think it's because football has struggled a little bit, and I think you and me talked about this off air the other day, Amit. West Virginia's been to the NCAA tournament, once or twice in the last 8 years or the last 10 years when we used to go every other year, every year. So I think fans are frustrated, and I don't think they're just frustrated at Ross Hodge. I think they're frustrated with the overall athletic department as a whole. But if you step back and you would have told me before the season, Ross Hodge could possibly finish with 10-8 record in the Big 12 his first year, I think we would all sign up for that. And the recruiting classes that he's bringing and the fact that he had these guys ready to play tonight, I think he deserves a hell of a lot of credit for the way they played tonight and the way he's kept this team together.
Yeah, 100%. I think for me, I mean, obviously this was a huge win. I think the most frustrating part about it is like you beat Kansas, you beat BYU, and you look, very good in those games, and then you lose to like Utah. So that's I think the most frustrating thing about it, right? It's just a consistency factor, right? When you know that this team can perform like this, but they're just not doing it on a consistent basis. So I think that's what I think people are fed up about a little bit.
Swabby G said, last 4 years I've been rough on the hardwood. Yeah, that will happen when you you literally, his next comment took the words out of my mouth. 4 coaches in 4 years, you're returning players from last year. Yep. Ross is doing a hell of a job. Yeah, absolutely, Swabby. And I agree, 4 coaches in 4 years, 2 roster turnovers. and in one of the toughest leagues in the country, if not the toughest league. Yeah, I think, and look at the strides they've made. I mean, the knock on this team has been offense, and look what they've done offensively the last 2 games. They've lit it up. I mean, they won tonight's game because of their offensive play. Because BYU was not backing down. BYU kept making plays and kept putting themselves in it. And if West Virginia went on a cold streak at the end of the game, they don't win this game. So the offense is what won them the game tonight, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think they did a great job of staying composed. Like, for instance, West Virginia was up 14.5. BYU comes out in the second half, 7-0 run. It's very easy to kind of like, oh, man, here we go again. But, every time BYU answered, and they did a lot, West Virginia was able to stay composed and answer themselves. So I think that was a credit to them and credit to Ross for doing a great job coaching him tonight.
Wright was awesome for them, former Baylor player at 23 points. He was as hot as a pistol at certain points in this game. Dybantsa, obviously, going to be the number 1 overall pick in the draft. I'll tell you what, man, when he was pulling up for 3 at the end of the game, I was holding my breath when he was pulling up and trying to hit those threes. But West Virginia played pretty good defense on him.
Yeah, I think especially in the first half. I mean, a player like that, you can't hold him to, 4 points all game. He's going to get his. But, I think in the first half, holding him to 4 points, that's a huge win for the team. I thought everybody did a great job collectively, defensively on him. I think Belo did a great job one-on-one, in certain situations. So credit to him. I mean, he's a guy that's capable of, going for 40 on any given night. So to hold him at 20, you live with that all day.
Swabby G said offensive rebounds got the win tonight, in my honest opinion. Boards and second chance points. Yeah, we talked about that earlier. If you look at offensive rebounds, 18-8, and then second chance points, 15-8, we'll take that all day. And then what we shoot, we shot 77% from the free throw line tonight. That's another thing that has plagued this team is inconsistent free throws, and they hit those tonight too. So I think that was another positive for the Mountaineers. Let's get into the half by half notes that we had, and then we'll put a bow on this one. First things first, I thought the energy from West Virginia was electric to start the game, and I think that's for 2 reasons. I think Ross Hodge had these guys ready to play, and I'll tell you what, man, I thought the stripe the stadium and the crowd, it was a sold-out crowd, and for as down as West Virginia Nation is, they brought the energy tonight and made it a really tough place for BYU to play.
Yeah, I mean, when the Coliseum's rocking, it's one of the best environments of college basketball. I've always said that, and I thought the crowd did a great job, and West Virginia definitely fed off that crowd. I mean, you had John Flowers in there tonight, so that was pretty cool to see. Obviously, a guy that we know pretty well from our time. But
remember when he would always do the Dougie?
Yeah, yeah. So no, it was a great atmosphere, and I think they fed off that energy for sure.
And then we mentioned the offensive rebounds. So we're not going to spend too much time on that. I mean, I thought BYU left a lot of points at the free throw line, especially in the first half. Just going back to the free throws, they shot 74%, but in the first half they were missing them, and it really gave West Virginia a chance to take a lead early.
Yeah, absolutely. It's I think I texted you. It's nice to be on the other side of that. So
yeah,
I definitely enjoyed that for sure.
And then, we talked about Dybantsa, but, West Virginia, they kept him in check the first half. He only had 4 points. So you'll take that all day. But you knew in the second half he was going to eventually get it going. He's too good not to. And he ended up having 20 points, as we mentioned. But in the first half, you gave yourself a chance. And I think being up at halftime, as lopsided as it was, I think it was like 14 points, was absolutely huge for this West Virginia team to play ahead of these guys. Because I think if you're playing these guys down, it's going to be really challenging to beat this team.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, obviously, when you have a guy as talented as him, you don't want him to get confidence, right? And then his teammates will get confidence as well. So I think, it was nice for West Virginia to play ahead this time around, and I think, they withheld, BYU's run as well. So credit to them.
As Flabby G said, next Friday's season finale, I'll be in Phoenix, Arizona, Jersey Ear. So you have to do a live show March 6th so I can feel the love while I'm riding in the desert. That's awesome, man. I know you're a big motorcycle enthusiast, so I'm sure you're excited right now for the weather getting warmer. So that's awesome. We'll have to see what happens with next Friday. I know Amit is he's starting a new career or a new job, so he's going to be on the road a little bit. So it might be solo. Maybe I'll ask some other content creators come on. We'll keep it flexible. I'm going to be busy next week, man, between the baseball team on their hot start right now. And then if you look at West Virginia wrestling, they have their Big 12 wrestling tournament next weekend. So that's huge for automatic bid for the NCAAs. There's a lot of great individuals on the wrestling team, so that should be fun too. And then we have this comment here from Tazo. He said, hit that like button. This is one of my day one guys right here. This guy was one of the first people to comment on one of my first videos and said he really enjoyed the show and has been hyping up the show. So I really appreciate you, man. You've been one of my diehards for a long time. So I really appreciate the support. I really do. So thank you. And then West Virginia was perfect at the charity stripe. We talked about that. Going on an 18-2 run. I didn't even know that team was capable of doing that, especially against a team this talented, Amit.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was just a great offensive performance. I thought, very balanced. I mean, you had a number of guys contributing, and yeah, I think probably outside of Kansas, this was probably the best performance collectively to this season.
Absolutely. Swabby G said, hit that subscribe button. Yeah, I absolutely. So let's get Jersey to 1K subs and monetize. That'd be great, Swabby. This month was tough. February was by far the slowest month of the year for me. In January, I hit like 105 subs in 1 month. And this month, I think I hit 13. I think it had to do with the basketball team struggling, and then football is kind of in that dead period. So sometimes it can get a little discouraging. So thank you for the support. I really appreciate it. Like I said, it makes it a lot easier when the Mountaineers win. So thank you for the support. If you haven't subscribed yet, definitely do. Jasper Floyd stepped up, and then DJ Thomas shined. DJ Thomas, again, one of those guys that when he really shows his potential sometimes, and he's definitely a must keep for next basketball season.
Yeah, really I mean, we talked about him and Amir throughout the season, and they showed flashes of greatness, and I thought he did a great job tonight. I mean, he made a couple threes, he was aggressive, and he just did his job, and obviously he finished in double figures. So another guy for West Virginia to finish double figures tonight. So yeah, great performance from him.
For sure. Other comments, great content. Keep it up. We will. We love the Mountaineers. So we definitely will. And like I said, it's exciting now if they got that win tonight, and we'll see what happens the rest of the year. Swabby G said, I'm pulling for you, man. You and Kuz are my go-to for updates. Yeah, shout out Kuz. Really appreciate him. Have developed a good relationship with him over the last few months doing content and stuff like that. So I appreciate him. So yeah, thank you. To be in the same breath as him as far as go-to content means a lot. So thank you. All right, second half. We're getting a little nervous starting out the second half. Amit, BYU's hot start out of the half had me concerned. I almost tweeted, at halftime, I went to go pick up my wife's dinner at the local food store down there. West Virginia has to avoid a slow start, and BYU got hot, and it got me nervous coming out of the gate.
Yeah, I mean, BYU, down 14.5, comes out 7-0 run. You're like, oh man. But West Virginia, I think, did a great job staying composed. I mean, it's always going to be a game of runs, but they were able to, withstand BYU's run and, make a run themselves, and it's kind of back and forth. But they weren't rattled, right? We've seen situations throughout the season where, when it comes down to some runs and crunch time, they get rattled a bit. And tonight, I think they did a great job and stayed composed, and that's a big reason why they won.
Absolutely. They stayed composed and they finished the game. They found a way to finish the game, which in the beginning of the season they weren't doing. We mentioned Dybantsa heating up, which he did, and he had his 20 points. But ultimately, he missed the ones that mattered at the end, which was important. We mentioned the assists. We had 18 assists, I think we mentioned, which was impressive for West Virginia. Lorient was great on the offensive glass. We've covered that. He had 9 rebounds tonight. We've often called him the glue guy, and I think he's one of the players that after the season's over, we're gonna miss him in a Mountaineer uniform. I think we're gonna appreciate guys like him and Chance Moore and their time at West Virginia just because of the grittiness that they showed and what they meant for this team.
Yeah, 100%. I think with Belo, I mean, he does so many different things. He's very versatile. He defends pretty well. He rebounds. He blocks shots. He scores. He's typically, usually in double figures. So, and then with Chance Moore, we talked about him being one of the only guys that really attacks the rim with aggressiveness. And outside of just maybe him at the foul line having some struggles, I mean, he's done a great job pretty consistently.
Dude, Chance Moore puts his body on the line. It's crazy.
Yeah.
When he goes up for those rebounds, he just plays so hard. So
right.
I think as frustrating as the missed free throws go, you have to tip your cap to him. It was funny with Chance Moore tonight, right? So he gets a rebound and then he gets it stolen, and it leads to BYU putting it back up, and you're like, oh man, like we could have been up by 5. Now we're only up by 3. And then BYU gets the ball back, and then Chance Moore the next possession steals the ball. And
Right. Yeah, that flip
you
was huge.
really more often than not, he's gonna go as hard as he can, and you can't question his toughness and his grit and his determination. So we'll take the missed free throws if he continues to battle as hard as he does each and every night. I thought West Virginia tonight, again, just great shot selection. We mentioned it earlier with Honor Huff. I just thought, they were making the extra passes, which led to more open looks, and they had better shot selection tonight, I thought.
Yeah, 100%. I thought, yeah, I agree. Great shot selection. And then I thought, like I mentioned, I think a lot of guys were moving without the ball. They weren't just waiting for something to happen. They were, making some very good plays and, obviously trying to get open and things like that. So, yeah, I think they did a great job as far as the shot selection and then doing some things without the ball.
They played it smart too. I think they knew their shot clock better tonight because
Yeah.
there'd be like a little bit of standing around because they controlled the pace in this game. You don't want to run up and down with BYU with their talent. So they especially at the end of the game, they were. If you watch the game, like with 10 seconds left, that's when the facilitating started happening. There was a few nice handoffs to Honor Huff to get him open for threes. They just moved the ball better. I thought the last 2 games that West Virginia played offensively was much better, and it showed that Ross Hodge can adapt and make changes. This team could have been left for dead and put their heads down, but they didn't do that. How about Amir Jenkins taking that charge in the second half? That led to a BYU turnover. It was a huge change of possession for the Mountaineers.
Yeah, I mean, I love Amir's fearlessness. I mean, he always plays very hard, and he leaves his body out there as well. I mean, he's obviously not the biggest guy out there, but I mean, he's a freshman, and he's having those plays, right? So credit to him. I think he's been a great asset for West Virginia this season. I think he's only going to get better.
Harlan fell over, and then he got caught in a weird position, and then he fouled him, which led to a 3-point play. That was a little bit frustrating, but it's basketball. It's going to happen. Chance Moore, we mentioned the struggles at the free throw line. And then I give BYU credit, and then I'll also not give them credit in 2 areas. So one area I'll give them credit is they refused to go away. I mean, they answered the bell each and every time. They could have hung their head because they were coming off of a loss, right? And they could have hung their head on a long road trip and just said, this isn't our night. But they kept battling and kept scoring and made West Virginia really sweat it out. But the problem with them was they got crushed on the glass tonight. So if you're a BYU fan, knowing the talent gap that is between these rosters, you're probably a little frustrated based on those rebound numbers tonight and the toughness of your team after watching that.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I think West Virginia obviously won this game, with the rebounding, right? I mean, crashing the glass, getting the offensive boards, huge difference in that category. And I think BYU, right? They did hang there, stay there. I mean, they were playing a little shorthanded without Richie Saunders, who's obviously out for the season. So obviously that was a crucial blow to that team. But they're still fighting, right? And they're always going to be in it when you have the talent that they have. So credit to them. But West Virginia, I think it was more about them tonight and having a big win.
Absolutely. Mr. John, 33751, longtime listener. Thank you, John. Big win for West Virginia. It absolutely was. We're excited. We definitely are. We needed this one. The fan base did. There was a lot of negativity, as I mentioned, coming into this one, just about a lot of different things. I think a lot of fans were hitting their breaking point. Speaking of Coos, he did a video this week about our West Virginia fans hitting their breaking point. West Virginia basketball, it seemed like, was collapsing at the end there, and football has had nothing to show the last few years. So it's been a little bit of a downtime as far as the major sports go. But for tonight, it was a huge lift, and it was the second biggest win of the season. So it was huge. So yeah, absolutely massive win for West Virginia. Drum Wolf said, "Let's go Mountaineers." Drum Wolf, how are you, man? Appreciate you too. Let's go Mountaineers, man. Yeah, it was great. Me and Amit are definitely excited about it. He said, finally a big win. Yeah, we forget, there was a big win 2 weeks ago too. They beat UCF 2 weeks ago. And I think that was the most frustrating part about 2 weeks ago was you have this massive win versus UCF where you come back on the road. That at that point, that was the second biggest win of the season.
Yep.
And then you couldn't capitalize on the momentum you have. The question now is, can this team capitalize on this momentum with some not easier games, because they're still going to be tough games, but teams you've already beaten before? Can you take this momentum and finish the season with a 3-0 record to finish the season with some momentum heading into Big 12 play. That's the next step.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think you have no choice at this point. I mean, you have to finish strong if you have any, chance at March. I mean, there's still obviously a lot of work to do, and but you're gonna probably have to win out and like do some work in the conference tournament to have any chance whatsoever. So, yeah, let's see. I mean, you definitely want to keep this thing going and beat K State on the road. You never know on the road, so just got to prepare and take care of business.
Drumwolf said win out and then win 2 in the Big 12 tournament. Yeah, there was an earlier comment. I think Swabby G said the same exact thing. He said we need to get win out the regular season and get 2 solid wins. That could be the recipe, especially if one of those wins is a quad 1 win in the tournament. Haven't really checked out the bracket. I think they might have like double buys now in the tournament. So I'll tell you what, though, this time of year is exciting. So the fact that we're not totally dead out of it yet will just amplify the game on Tuesday and amplify the game Friday, and then it will really give us something to look forward to for the Big 12 tournament. If you finish this regular season out 10-8 in the Big 12 conference, that's going to be a pretty good resume, I would think. I mean, you have tonight was the 5th quad 1 win of the year.
5th quad 1 win, yep.
Because we have quad 1 wins now over Kansas, Arizona State, Cincinnati, UCF, and now BYU. BYU coming into this one was 21st in the net.
Yeah, I mean,
so and that was the other wins we have is 14 net Kansas, 75 Arizona State, 54 and 44. So this one was by far the second best win.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think the one thing that's troubling is obviously that Utah loss in quad 3. I mean, that was difficult, and then quad 2 record could probably be a little bit better as well. But overall, I mean, there's still a shot. So let's see. You're definitely gonna have to, probably win out, and then I think I agree, probably 2 in the conference tournament to have a shot. But hey, look, I mean, even regardless, right? I mean, to finish the Big 12 potentially 500 or over 500 at this point of the year, you have to be happy about that.
Drumwolf said that win made my weekend. I think it did for all of us. I think if you're tuned into this show and you're listening to some Jersey guys talk about Mountaineer basketball, I think that win made everyone's weekend. I think that's safe to say. We are diehard fans. If you're watching this right now and you're one of the people that are tuned in, you're a diehard West Virginia fan, and we appreciate you guys. So I think our moods are all better when we win these games, especially late in the season. We love our Mountaineers, and we stick together, and we're invested even when the clouds are looking dark over the program. So we appreciate you guys tuning in and celebrating the win with us. We really do. Said girls play Cincinnati tomorrow. Yeah, they're in contention for a lot of great things too. So, things are looking up for a lot of the other programs too. You talk about girls basketball, wrestling's ranked, rifle's good. The baseball team's off to, I believe, an 8-1 start right now. They've been crushing. They won another series today. So as negative as people can be sometimes, there also is a lot of optimism around the overall athletic program as well. Amit, any last words before we put a bow on this one?
No, I think it was a huge win. Obviously, I think the energy in the arena was great tonight. I mean, I think the team played well. I mean, they did a great job at the foul line. They made shots. They got a lot of guys involved. And they crashed the glass with authority. So really love the performance tonight. You got to keep it going. You got to finish the season off strong and see what happens in the conference tournament.
All right, I'm gonna go Blair Country Roads upstairs and wake my kids up. That's how it is.
There you go.
Listen, I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. We really appreciate it. Again, if you haven't done so yet, hit that subscribe button. We'll talk to you guys next time on the Jersey Ear Show.